A pleasure to welcome back to the Morning Brew our special guest, Andrew Connors. You were kind of getting into meeting Carlos Condit.
That was so cool. I love the diversity of the show constantly.
Isn't that fun?
And to see Carlos Condit and have to follow him on the show, that's a little intimidating.
Well, you're prepared. You're good. You're good.
Great, thanks.
Andrew is Curator of Art at the Albuquerque Museum of Art, and good to see you again.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much for having me on there.
Well, new exhibit. What are we doing?
Well, this weekend we're opening a new show that comes from the Smithsonian American Art Museum, and it's from their world-class collection of African American art. And one of the things that we don't really think about here in New Mexico is that there's this incredible diversity right here in our own community. And we tend to think of the three cultures, Native American, Hispanic, and Anglo cultures. But our community is so much more diverse than that. And this exhibition is going to help tell that story. The diversity of American art and the great contributions that African Americans made to our culture.
Wow, this is going to be impressive. So you roll it out this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's from the Smithsonian. That's also impressive.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, exactly. It's great fun that they're willing to share their collections this way and really send it out across the country. And in Albuquerque, we just get this opportunity constantly at the museum to bring something new in. Every exhibition, we have a whole new world. We have a whole new culture to explore and celebrate and share with each other. And that's one of the great learning opportunities that we have. That I'm not African American, obviously myself. I don't share any of that culture. But looking at these works of art, you just realize, yeah, there might be differences, but generally, basically, we are all humans. We share more in common than separates us. And an exhibit like this really tells that story.
We have a few images, so walk us through these, okay?
All right.
Let's take a look at the first one here as we look at some of the pictures from the upcoming exhibit. And what do we have here?
Well, this is a painting by John Biggers, and John Biggers was born in the South in a little house called Shotgun House, which is not about violence. It just means that all the rooms are one in line, and so if you opened up all the doors, you could shoot a shotgun right through the house.
Interesting.
Exactly. Those shotgun houses are really typical American architecture. And in that painting, there's this church in the background that has been burned out. And in the 1960s, obviously, there was a lot of violence against African American churches, particularly in the South. And John Biggers wants to show that while the adults are sort of looking away and horrified with this incident, the kids are playing in the wet street. The kids are going on. The kids are continuing regardless of the hardship.
They're just being kids.
Exactly, and persevering, and saying the next generation it's going to be better. And I think that's one of the important lessons of this exhibition, that there are these really difficult moments in American history of the 20th century, and African Americans were at the center of a lot of those difficult times, and yet look at where we are now. We're constantly improving as a country. Things are getting better for us all, hopefully. And that's one of the major messages that a lot of the artists share in this exhibition.
Let's take a look at the next one. We have another one to show you.
All right.
And
this is a photograph by Roland Freeman. It was taken in 1974, and Roland Freeman was born in Baltimore and worked in Baltimore and Washington, D.C. And he traveled around the country just sort of loving African American culture in all of its different guises. And so that photograph was taken in Jazz Alley in Chicago, a dance club. Nice. And that couple was just dancing and having a good time at a dance party.
I know, it just shows the happiness and they're having.
And she's beautifully dressed. And
exactly, very 70s, very of the fashion of the 70s. But that's another great lesson in this exhibition, that those two are very specific individuals, but they could be anybody. I mean, they could be my parents enjoying dancing in the 1970s. So each one of the artists tells a very specific story, but all of us can see ourselves.
Opens this weekend, and how many paintings in all?
There are about 103 works of art, painting, sculpture, photography, prints, really diverse collection, dating from the 1920s to the 1990s.